Hello everybody and welcome to Simple Learn. This is your host Nikhil. Can you please confirm if you're able to hear me clearly? Please write yes or no. Great. Thanks for confirmation. Just give me a second. Hello sir. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Yeah. So we'll wait for 10 minutes and then we'll start. Yeah. Yeah, clear.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. So good evening, guys. Welcome back. Welcome to all of you. Hope everyone doing well. So we'll wait for some few minutes, 5-10 minutes. We'll then move to the Spring MVC examples and all, the architectures, etc. And the Spring form, etc. Like we have discussed about that yesterday, some form value. So the examples regarding Spring MVC, then with XML, then with annotations like that. So we'll go with Spring today itself to complete till boot. Okay, so we'll wait for some time, and it's only 13 participants. So at least around 20-25 will there. So we'll start. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, good. Mayank is written nicely. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all the time zones. That's great. So, different time zones, different timings. So, greetings to everyone. Okay, yes. So, we have almost 25 participants now joined. So, let's start the session. So, yesterday, yeah, good evening, good evening. So, yesterday you have tried with this MBC architecture model, view controller architectures things, try to study and understand the concept, how these mapping things are there. Okay, okay. So it's an interesting one. It's not any challenging, but it's something like internally these architectures are maintained for the high level of security things. It's like these Spring projects are $1 billion projects, and it's required the paramount thing is the security of the projects. Especially the outside clients are mostly concerned with the security aspects rather than the just writing the code and getting it done. It's not like that. The first concern is that my website should be very secure, and that's the reason the Java things are taken. So Java is a platform independent language. So what is the benefit to the client? What do you think so? Like it's a platform independent language, right? So you have seen that things, what is platform and all. So what is the benefit of it? Yes. So this is what is okay, but to the client, he's a non-technical person. Client is not aware of the technology. Like we understand different operating system and all. So what is the client's perspective in this case? Client is the person who is investing for the project. Okay. So what is the benefit to him? Robust app. Yes, yes. So it's common question actually. These things are because we think about yes, yes. It's you are correct. This is a technical aspect. It's okay that this uh, platform independent different OS we can run, but the main things are costing. Okay, so client has to make less investment towards the non-human cost. So non-human resource cost. So that is like if we go with the Ubuntu, Linux and other operating system, this is free of cost, means it's not licensed one. For Windows, you need a license. For Mac, you need a license also. So client is having that kind of advantage in terms of costing. Okay, for technical aspects, it's for the development side, but for the costing aspects, it's for the client side, which costs less and more secure. So uh, there are hundreds of systems. The projects are developing on that systems. Suppose they are in that group. So the operating system can be anyone, like Linux or any other operating system, which they can use and they can develop the applications. So that's also, and it's architectural neutral. So the processor wise also 32-bit, 64-bit. So those like a kind of environment also they don't have to upgrade huge those things investment in that. So these things are a normal general questions that the preference given for the security plus the cost effectiveness. Okay, so that's the reason Java is highly popular language, most secured language, and Spring is using the Java JEE components, created their own MVC, own APIs. So the advantage, like it's a Java based only, and you don't have to write the code from the starting onwards. The code is almost API level, it's almost been there, and we have to integrate all those things. So this is the advantage in case of the when we are working towards the framework. Framework is like that only. where you have to write very less code and get the entire integrations and output then will come to that. Can change the development descriptor. Web app project, deployment descriptor version. It's like you have to go with the modules, like you have a dynamic module. Yes, yes. No, 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 not it. Discussing the normal things before starting today's session. So that's the discussing that. Yes, Sony. So that means web app project. How can you change the deployment descriptor version? So deployment descriptor version, it's something which comes by the dynamic modules. Okay, I've not shared the screen. Okay, now it's visible, right? Is it visible? Okay, 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 okay. Yes, yes. So yeah, so today we'll plan for this MVC architecture and all those concepts. Yes, screen. I just switch on to my screen. I was just discussing something. Yes, yes, yes. So this one, yeah. Let's see this project architecture. So web apps, web XML is there. This is our deployment descriptor. So it is auto created, right, Sony? So this one is this one, but if you want, you can have this build path. And we have this configure it. And then we have the project facets. Here we have dynamic web module 2.3 to 3.1. Okay. So the list is coming in the project facets. Based on that, it will route it and it will recreate the project accordingly. But what is the problem actually? All things are not compatible. So instead of doing it, let it create by its own. Okay. So no need to make the changes. You can download and do it, but some errors comes in, then you have to again debug those things. Configuration issues may come. So by default, this creating this project, they come with one environment which is compatible to all Java to the web apps. Okay. So that's by default it's come. Yes, yes, Neha, that's topic. Okay. So to the Spring MVC, we started these things like study the architectures. Today we will do with the Spring form, Spring MVC, and in that Spring form, Spring form design, then Bean controller architecture for this project. We will take one form, we'll put some value and add the scores. So it's a kind of applications which will help you to understand how the projects means in the beginning we have a bean and controller, and then two more layers are required after that, that is service and repository. So we'll go in the phases like starting with bean and controller. Okay. And later on, we can move to the service and repository when we connect with the Hibernate implementation with JPA. Okay, so the process like step by step, I'm going with that. Then we will cover the Spring Boot today itself with case study. Okay, one case study with we have bean, controller, and service. Okay, So this case study will help you to understand the normally what is the flow. The last thing will be left is repository, where the database connecting things will be left. Okay. So the getter setter things and the controller will have the logic file logically and will integrate with the service layer. So some validate method or something. So through the controller it will routing it. Okay, so this kind of architectures first when we try to learn the Spring, we must focus on this one by one steps, and also in between Spring MVC with annotation. One example in that also. Okay. So major component is Spring MVC and till boot, right? Okay. So can I start now? Everyone has joined. How many participants are now currently? We have roughly most of you have joined, right? So let's study. Okay. What do you want me? So it once again. So the XML based configuration, then with annotations, then with the boot. Okay, so all the three category will today cover it. So the major part of Spring MVC will be understood to you. Then we'll go with the next process with JPA, with connecting with the database. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah, yeah, Sumit, yeah, yeah. So just doing it. So if you remember, yesterday we have taken Spring MVC project, and in the pom.xml, we have to add the dependency. Web.xml is there, and it has a web app applications, nothing written over here. Here we will be adding the dispatcher servlet mapping with that. Then we'll create one mapper file over here, and then this JSP pages folder will be creating for the views purpose. And in the main, we will be writing the bean and controller. Okay. So first thing first, in the pom.xml, what dependency we have to add? That is DevMVC. Okay. So starting one must be, okay, sorry. So first, Maven repository. Okay. One second. So you have to visit to the Maven repository, MVN repository, and MVN repository, download the dependency and copy paste. So first take this one, search for Spring. Okay, Spring Web MVC, I'm searching this, ads are blocking actually, taking more time. Spring. So here we can download the Spring Web MVC. dependency in the pom.xml. Okay, so something or not. So first thing is adding the dependency. After that, you have to go and do the coding and all, anything. Spring Web MVC first we will add here. Or if some library is still missing, we will add later on also, but it is the starting one. Spring Web MVC. Latest is 5321. So this is June 22. For example, just take this one for the time being. So copy this dependency and paste here. Okay. That you have to know that. So I'm telling you, this web MVC required. It has to be like when we are doing with the Hibernate, so you have to add the Hibernate. When you are doing the web MVC, you have to do the web MVC. When you are going with servlet, you have to add the servlet. So you have to search in the Maven repository. Okay. By default, nothing will be told to you that this is what the dependency is. Okay. So if you are going with MySQL, then what you will search? MySQL, right? Similarly, like WebMVC we are doing, so WebMVC we are searching it. Okay. And if we are doing with servlets, so we will do with the servlets. Okay, so this Spring WebMVC project is there. 5321. Save this one. Now the next thing is we will make the entry to the web.xml. Here we have to map the dispatcher servlet, means servlet mapping. So yesterday we have discussed that for the servlet we have to write all servlet name, servlet class, servlet mapping. I hope that you have remember that, right? Yesterday during the closing of sessions I will discuss that already. Okay. So first take the servlet because we are going to have the servlet class dispatcher servlet, right? So control hyphen no response servlet. So this going to be my servlet and servlet name and servlet class we will be adding over here. Okay, control space. So servlet name. So we have to provide the servlet name. So any name, suggest any name. Let's dispatcher itself. Okay. Then servlet class, and this is going to be my which class? Dispatcher servlet. So dispatcher servlet is the front controller. All the requests will be first received by the intercepted by the dispatcher servlet. Here we don't have to create the dispatcher servlet kind of logic. Just inbuilt options are there. Use their library things and add that. Okay. So it's something like org dot spring, right? org dot spring framework. It's a simple one. You can easily remember that framework. And it's the web MVC, so web dot we are having servlet, right? So dot servlet, then the class name. So dispatcher and its class name. So it follows the camel case servlet. This is my Spring framework, WebMVC framework. We provide the dispatcher servlet. So this architectures which we have discussed, form.xml, we have added the dependency for WebMVC. Then we are going to the web.xml, and in the web.xml we are just mapping to dispatcher servlet. So the servlet things are over. Servlet name, servlet class is closed, servlet is closed. Just make it proper aligned. After that, another state of mapping is required, URL pattern and the servlet name. So that two things in the mapping tag. So angular bracket, control space, not giving any sessions. So we'll take servlet. Let's see, servlet mapping. Okay. So servlet mapping. Inside that we have the URL pattern. Okay. So this is mandatory things for the every servlet to map into the web.xml if we are going with the XML way. Okay. So then servlet name. So the servlet name, what is the name given? Dispatcher, right? And it has associated pattern, URL pattern. So the URL pattern I'm giving slash. So in the browser, this is what the URL. Okay. So this URL pattern and servlet name, these two things are given. The URL pattern is the browser. Whatever we write slash, then we will write the context path. Okay, so that is the given initially. These two things are with this dispatcher servlet. Once this dispatcher servlet is mapped, then what should we do it now? We will create the bean and controller and also the mappers. So mapper things are important here. This has to be immediately mapped with this one file. So go to the devinf, right click it, new, others, search for XML, and the XML name will be what? What is the XML name should be? Mapper file name should be? Yes. Good. This is what the mapper means. XML file, when it asks for the name, then you have to write this name for the mapping purpose. Okay, so what is the name you will give it? Correctly written there. Dispatcher and dispatcher, that is the name. Then you have to write hyphen servlet dot XML is already there. So two dots are given. Font is okay. One dot is there, na? Just delete it. Servlet dot XML. Okay. So this is the naming rule. That's we call it mapper file. Okay. So when you are giving the name of the servlet, dispatcher servlet, any name you can write, then you have to write with this mapping file convention. So it automatically will detect with that. So this mapping is required next and finish it. So this mapping, it's again a XML file. You need the header. So that header is a big header. So that I have already copied it before this starting. So the means because when a small space or some missing, it will not detect coding. So it's just like import things which we are doing it actually. Okay. So these are the headings. directly from the springframework.org/schema beans xsd. So these are the headers which we have to write for the mapping purpose. And what does this this XML is having? Mapper has having two things. One is the component scan, other will be view resolver, right? Remember that thing yesterday we have discussed. So I'm going with this one more time so that you can have this, remember those things. So it takes time. I could have moved to the new topics and all, but I'm going with this. That headers you can search for this mapper headers in the Spring IO. So you will get that in their docs dot Spring IO. You search for the mapper header, you will get it. Okay, these things are there. Okay, on the net it will be available. This all HTTP Spring Framework. So that documents are there, na Spring Framework documentation. So you can search for that. You will definitely get this schema, location, context, and all. Okay, now we will have two things. Bean. So first bean, before that context, we are having the component scan. Remember that thing, component scan. So it is starting with control space. Okay, context is there. Text, yes. Context colon. We have component hyphen scan, that is for it's a runtime. Wherever the colon things are used, that is runtime attribute. So yes. What? Oh yes. You have said, na? Okay. Yes. It's a Spring thing, na? It's nothing like it's anywhere. It's search in the See, correctly given docs.spring.io. For XML mapping, you have this configuration things you have to download. Okay. Now we are going to write the base package name, so we have to write the scan things, right? So component scan. First we will try component scan base package. So what is the base package we have? Okay, we have not created any base package. Just 1 minute. New package com dot simply learn. Okay, so com dot simply learn. That's this is my base package. Then we will create further bean and all. Okay, so com dot simply learn. So here we will pass this com dot simply. And this component scan is closed. Now we have to write the internal view resolver. Okay, so internal view resolver, we have not created the views. So for this, in the web.inf folder, we are going to have one folder, new folder, and relevant name we can pass here. So let's say JSP or views. Okay, it's the views component, so you can give any name, but these are the most relevant things. Okay, so we'll write this bean. Okay, so this is my bean property. So this class. Okay, so we have to write the class for this internal view resolver equals to in the double quotes. Again, the same thing will be there till servlet. After the servlet, it will be view and the view resolver. Like in dispatcher servlet, it's similar package actually. Just only difference is that after servlet we have a dispatcher servlet, but here after servlet we have still the package name called view, and from the view we have internal resource view resolver that has to be given for the identifying that particular view. Where is that view locations would be. Okay, so prefix and suffix. Okay, so when we have this library, just add this import kind of a statement here. Org, same like previously we have done, is org dot spring framework dot web dot servlet. After this, it will change to a new package, that is view package. Okay, view, this one. So that locations I am doing it. It's all library. You can see org.springframework.web.servlet.view, and then internal resource view resolver, and it has to follow all the camel case. So it's having I capital internal resource. After that, internal resource. Yes, we'll do it. After this, I will do it. Okay. Without XML, I will, without annotations also, directly Spring Boot if you want, I can do it. So there is no problem for me. I'm going with XML, then annotations, then the boot. So that's why I say that you see, I also have time constraint, but I am taking these things. Why I am taking, I know that it will help you in the future. Okay. So directly start the boot, then everything gone. Where you will see all those things. These things are good to start with. So starting with normal, then all the three I will show you today itself. Okay, don't worry. I planned like currently I am dealing with two corporates still. Already you know about the Cognizant, and also in the evening I am dealing with Wipro. Okay, so Monday to Friday. So already I have all those curriculums which are there actually. So the way they are actually asking, and they need to do the projects after that. So we build like that way. So that is what the process I'm doing it. Okay, so give me some time, we'll do it. Okay, till 11 o'clock we will complete all this thing. Yes. So this happens. Okay. That is my evening. What it's my choice, no? After 6 o'clock. I am for 8 hours. Evening is my evening. Okay, they have capstone projects. Those capstone projects we have to do it. I will show that in case if you want after some time. But let me complete those things. Okay. So we have this property name and property name prefix. Okay, and the value. Value we will have the views here. So it's simple to write. If you see, this ID is so much helpful that you just type and it will connect with that. Okay. Yes. That is for 9 to 6. Okay. Yes. For me, it's like no holiday, continuous. I'm working for so many organizations. The Udemy things also I will discuss. Okay, don't worry. Let me complete. I will forget all those lines. Let me think of because I am also concentrating. Yes, yes. How can we connect? Yes, yes. We'll discuss. Give me some time because I have so many things in my mind to do today. So, yes, yes. It's not a huge requirement nowadays. What do you think so? It's like after this lockdown, we have a huge requirement. So, okay, no problem. This one, what I was doing, property, right? Just 1 minute. Complete. So property and the values. Web slash views. Okay, so property. Yes, yes, Neha, I will discuss. Okay, it's with Udemy things. Okay, I will discuss. It's like some regions I'm not sharing it, but will definitely do for you. So no problem because you are asking. So we'll discuss. Property name. We have prefix. Okay, okay, will do. Let me complete. Okay. Uh, so we have a prefix and suffix kind of it. You are aware of it, right? So prefix means we will go to this folder actually. Prefix. Okay, and the value. So this is prefix thing, and suffix and prefix two things we have to take into the account. Then uh, most likely here we have to write the value also. Value is there, no? Value. Let's see, it's coming. Yes, it's correct one. So prefix and the values. What is the locations? It's a wave INF. So it's caps one. Please remember this one. INF means informations. Wave informations. INF shortcut slash. What is the folder name? Views. And then one more. You need values and all, but this time suffix. So just complete this one. Property name, suffix. Okay. And what is going to be here? Because we are going to have .jsp file right now. So we will tell that search for extension .jsp. View folder. Okay, okay. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm just completing it. So first thing is form.xml. Then we have this WebMVC. Currently this one WebMVC. So we are doing with WebMVC. So we are having this library. Then the entry point is web.xml. We map the dispatcher servlet. Then dispatcher servlet name is dispatcher. We have the mapper file here. And this mapper file will have these headers which you will get from the Spring Docs file URL. Context. What is the context component? Scan base package. That means will search the controller here. Dispatcher servlet will search the controller here. And when it gets the data, it has to return to some view. Okay, so we have to write this one. Property name prefix. First we have class bean class org.springframework.web.servlet.view internal resource internal resource no internal that was I was discussing. Let's see internal resource view resolver. Now it is correct. Java is one thing where it gives the naming conventions such a name actually that if you read the name, they given why they are giving such big names. that starting any freshers or anyone, at least have some basic idea that it's going to resolve the view. So naming conventions in Java is such a nice thing. Unlike any other language, they have very short names and all, but here they kept a big name, array index out of bound exception. Remember that. And you have arithmetic exceptions. So easily to understand at least what is the purpose to be. Right? So we have this property name, prefix, value, value close, views, and then again one more property, and this property is closed. That is the simple mapping things we have. Okay, property close and then bean close and then the beans closed. Okay. So bean class, okay, so this given view, one of you asked how to create a folder. So folder purpose, so just right click on the web INF. Okay, when you right click, you will get new, and in the new you will get the folder. If you don't get here first time, it doesn't comes by default. So go to the others, and in others search for folder. So then you will get that. So when folder, then next it will ask the name of the folder. Okay. So when you write the name of it, then it will directly come to the web INF. Okay. So right click on that, search for folder, and write the name of it. Okay. So pom.xml, web.xml, dispatcher XML is over. Now what we required, we will first go to the Java part, then we have to write this JSP also. Two things in the views. Okay, so it's better that we'll start with the Java things because we will have the bean and controller, which I have said in the starting that we'll have bean and controller things, right? So bean means the getter setter file, that is our bean file. Okay. In database, when we do with the Hibernate implementation, we'll make it at the rate entity. Currently, it's not connecting with that, so it's normally it will be a getter setter only. Okay, or toString to return that method. So we'll create one package here, or this package if I can modify, simply learn. The rename is possible. No? Just 1 second. Refactor rename. So bean and controller, service and repository. These are the major part of MVC architecture. It's coming, just 1 second. So you have to create the package name, and yes, what is this asking for? So if not saved, now it will ask for saving. Yes, now it will do it. Simply learn dot bean. Okay. So we'll take the bean. Let's see, it's creating. So I renamed it. So this is my base package, com.simplylearn, and the bean and controller will be the package name, full package signature. Okay. Yes, it's now created here. In this one, new class. So what I'm going to do, I'm thinking to have one uh, scores, marks, some science, maths, English, adding the marks and displaying to the next page. So the forms. Okay, so I will take three variables for adding the scores. So let's take, we have English, science, maths. For example, just thinking of it. Otherwise, you have other topics also, but just take for starting one, three variables, and then their getter setters, constructors to initialize it, and those string methods for returning the value, adding it, all the 3, 4 marks you can have return value, can add it. So take the class name like scores or marks. So marks I have taken here. And in this marks, we don't have the main method here. Please remember, finish here, it's a bin file. And here we'll create few variables right now. So private variables, as you understand, for the secured environment. So no one can modify the code, I mean, variables outside the class. So take private int English, for example. Copy those 2, 3 times to save some time. Int science. I'm adding actually, no, I want to add the 3 marks. So I've taken integer. String will take then other examples. Just for this purpose of architecture, form, string form, etc. Okay, so I'm not taking the string now. Private int in engineering science and let's say math. Okay, so this main idea is to have some form design after that string form which we have discussed. So we will take the input from the user and through the form, and once input is given, when you submit it, it will display the scores total A plus B plus C, English plus science plus maths. So I've taken normally integer only. Okay, right. So yes. For the time being, if I add anything, it's bin file only. So constructor and the get and set. So how to make the constructors here? Just to go to the source, first select any one of it. Source, generate, first generate the constructor using the field. So we will generate it. That is my constructor. I will pass that argument later on that. That's why I taken the constructor. And getter setters also for setting values. Source, generate getter setters, engineering, maths and English, science, English, maths and science. Okay. And one last method, string, returning to string. So that simply all the 3 scores will add it and display on the next page, whatever the user will provide the inputs. Okay, so we will go with the 2 string. That's the easiest way to override that source, generate 2 string with this value, generate it. Instead of generating, we will, because it will say all those printing and formatting I don't need, so just write this for time, otherwise it will generate unnecessary code also. Okay, so take public. How will we write that? String to string this Yes, I'm doing it here. Immediately the compiler detects so much things. By default, if you write, it will come with annotations also at the rate override. Okay, if not writing, it also will work, no problem. But I remember that it's by default when I use it will come. So return these three marks. Okay, so return we will have some what it is this no? Current one this sort English math EN G plus this dot next one was science then plus this dot math done. Oh, okay. This also not taking plus returning, so it's concatenates as some space. Okay, done. So returning this one, finally what will return? This maths scores inputs will be taken and they will add it in the result. So we'll create one for insert, second for output result in the next page. So we'll create two JSP pages for it. One will accept the details from the forms and second will take that display on that model attribute. Okay, it's very interesting examples which I'm going to do it, and it will give you a full understanding of the this Spring MVC architecture with the Spring forms. Okay, so this type of examples starting you must practice. Then we can go with case studies, several case studies we can share it, and based on that you can keep on adding those learning experience one by one, not to rush to anything, because we have time constraint. But obviously if I do these things fast track and all, it will not be easier for anyone to understand. So we don't have any choice but to spend some extra hours to complete those things. Okay, that's what I'm doing it. Let's see. So now we will create one controller after it, and controller is what? The logical part which we connect actually with this one. So we will create one package here. This one here com.simplylearn. So one more package, just rename it refactor. Marks not saved. Save it. Then the controller. Okay. This is class controller. It is not that controller. Please remember, don't confuse with dispatcher server. Dispatcher server is a front controller. This is going to be the class controller. Okay, controller. So that is my package name. And that URI means context path I will call in the browser. So that I will get that respective JSP pages. Okay, so this one is controller. Now we'll simply write the class for this one. And it's a marks. So give the name marks controller. Okay. Try to give the name which is actually relevant. Any name is okay, it works, but that is we have to do it. Now this is my controller class. So first thing, that annotation @ controller. And this importing actually stereotype. Now we will make one method and we'll mark it as a request mapping, and that method will be having model and view written in. Okay. So it has a Spring framework has an interesting interface type model and view, which returns the view also and the model also. So in examples which we do it, it's very useful actually. This actually I was writing it. Let me think. First, we'll take one method here. Public method insert, right? Previously inserting before insert. So and one will be after insert. So name. So this is method name. Naming convention is starting with smaller pre-insert, for example. Okay. This is my method, request mapping method, and it has a return type, model and view. Model and view. This first imported. org Spring Framework web.servlet. And then obviously you have to return this one for timing this one. Model and view, what is that actually? Oh, so it's a class only. Written by this. What is the purpose of here? Holder for both model and view in the WebMVC framework. So the object also it will hold and the JSP page also. Okay, both model and view. That's a great class actually. So this class merely holds both to make it possible for a controller to return both model and view in a single return value. So this is very useful class which we are going to use now. In the return type also we have to return the object. So currently we first use @ request mapping. So this request mapping and the URIs which we have to pass at least we will call through the JSP pages. Okay. So here any name. So I'm thinking this one name I should write here. This will be passed through the JSP pages. Okay. So when JSP page will be clicked, index.jsp, then it reaches to here, then it will do the transactions. So name like insert. Remember this. So this is your choice. You can give any name, but remember this has to be passed to the index time index.jsp page. Okay, insert. But pre-insert it will be better if same. Okay, leave it. So just here model and view pre-insert. We will create the instantiate the bean. So bean here. So what is that? Marks equals to new marks. Okay. So this is the object which we have got. Okay. You have to import it. Add argument. Okay. No, I don't want right now. Okay. One small change, please. Okay, so this constructor, default constructor, when you take a parameterized constructor, then default constructor will not come. You have to explicitly then write it. So I'm explicitly write because I need this default one right now. Then we have this marks model and view is there, this class. So we will instantiate that as well, new model and view. Model and view, let's take M and B equals to model and view. What are the arguments which we are passing? 3 arguments actually it must have. Let's see. Open declarations. This is constructor string view name. Not this one, overloaded this one, not map. We will take model and view HTTP. Model and view attributes, then the attributes of the view part first of all, because you can see this string view name is there. So first we will pass the view. After that we will have this next one is the model attribute which will pass through the JSP, and finally the bean object. Okay, so appropriate one I am not getting here. I will show it. Yes, this one. I will use this overloaded constructor. First the view name. So it will go to that .jsp page. It also has a bean object, and it will have a model attribute. Okay, so these 3 things will pass with the model and view constructor. Convenient constructor to take a single model object. Okay, model name is a single entry in the model. Model object is a single model object, and dispatcher and view name is the view to render to be resolved by dispatcher servlet in view resolver. So these 3 things. So let's assume that my view page name will be inserting, right? So insert any name suggest insert. It is going to take the input, insert input or insert marks is there, na? So better marks. So that is one of it. Then these things I'm just keeping it blank. This I have to create in the JSP page. This model attribute, and then the object. So you can see this one. Open declarations. View name I have given. Still I have not created the model name. So that I will create in the JSP page, and the model object. So object is passed over here. Okay. And return. So since we are not returning the view here, we are returning the view here. So we will simply return the object of it as a view. Okay, that's enough. So this is my first one, and I have to write the JSP page for it. Then post processing, I have to write another request mapping, and one more JSP associated. So now we'll require to have some JSP page also in this category. Okay, so here we will do the Spring form actually for taking the marks, and then this attribute has to be filled in. Okay, so go to the JSP page. See, this is a big architecture. It's not one single Java file. That's why it takes time also, because you have to follow the entire structure. Then it works. Finally, you have to debug also. So those things are required. Now it's the views here, and when we go to the new JSP file, we will get here. So please right click it, and you will get the JSP file. Okay. So loading is taking time. I don't know. It's very much. Okay, before that, we will route through the index file. So just 1 minute. Index.jsp is already there. Right. So when user clicks this, it will go to the controller request mapping. So we will have, let's see, S2. Add score. Add marks. And in the body tag, we will take one link, hyperlink. Hyperlink, what is that symbol? AHREF. Okay. HREF. What happened? Yes. Yes. Yeah. REF or HREF? HREF. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Hyper reference. Yes, yes. That's what. So when user will click, it will go to the control. Otherwise, I can directly type in the browser and do that. But for the convenience, just making it through the one JSP page to routing it. So here href equal, the syntax is correct. Yes. Okay. And in the controller, so much noise and all, what happened? You write in the chat box, I will see that. Okay, so I will complete and will again integration things I will explain one more time. Give me 10-15 minutes, it will complete. Okay. So just href, this controller we have the insert, right? Yes. Voice is breaking. 1 minute. I'm connected with a Wi-Fi, but I don't know what is this. No, voice is breaking. Someone is saying, so where is that? The Wi-Fi. 5G internet, I think it's more than 100 Mbps I have. Okay, it's okay. No? Okay. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, no problem. One of you maybe actually please again connect it in case because my side I am having 100 Mbps, maybe even 70, 80 if it is still it's okay. Okay, so mask controller we have given this insert. So when user click this insert, it will directly take it to this page. Okay, so here index.jsp. Yes, so scrolling down. Index.jsp to go to the page. With this method, it will call. Okay, pre-insert. Index dot index insert. What is copying in this thing? One minute, scrolling down. Okay, here we will write insert and close this one. It's showing error. No, that's quite irritating. So just complete this one. Insert hello. No. Insert marks. So this is a starting point. It's nothing. Just click it, go to the controller, and then controller will have this mask controller, which will have this pre-insert mask and instantiate and all. So now we will go to this view part, insert marks, because we have to create this one JSP page Spring form. Normal HTML form is also allowed, but a Spring form is having great mapping concept. Okay, so then you will see how it is so fast and connecting at least those things I wanted to share with you. So insert marks, we will go to create the JSP page here. I was creating this now. No. So save all, first of all. And here in the views, right click over here. New JSP file and give the proper name of it. So I'm just going to take the inputs from the user. So inserting some records, right? Manually, so like insert marks. That's the proper name. .jsp. Okay. So finish it. And you will see this one is creating these headers. Okay, this is my JSP page. That means this you can also copy. Even not doing it, still it will work because it's a powerful ID. It will add it. Okay, so I just added this here also in this JSP. And now we have insert mark.jsp. Metadata, just delete this for search engine optimization. We will use the string form, right? So for that we have to use the URI tag lib. So tag lib we have to use. There are three types of directive, as I said: @page directive, @tag lib directive, @include directive. Okay, so angle bracket percentage percentage tag lib. Tag lib means tag library. This is the third one. Page directive, tag means directive. And you have to write the uniform resource identifier for Spring form. And that is in the Spring website itself, Spring form. So we have the URI which we will use currently. So in JSTL tags, if you have done in JSP, you must have done the JSTL tag where you have used the code tags, etc. So that is the same thing here. It has a Spring tags in the URI. So it's like, oh, that's great. Forms, tag/forms. Okay, so this one we'll use, and prefix I will give SP. Simply string SF. SF is a better thing, right? Any name you can give, that's not a problem. That is a prefix. Now I can use normal HTML. Instead of that, I will use the SF with that syntax. So now let's build upon title, head not needed, insert marks. That's simple HTML, leave it. And inside the body tag, we will create this model attribute. That blank thing I've kept there, if you remember, here I will do it, and that is the magic. It will connect with that automatically. See, these Spring things are like that. So SF, which I have taken just now, colon, form. So this is my Spring form. Okay, inside that form, what are the attributes we will take? Remember, post or get and the action, right? So form action, here we have taken form, then we will take action equals to this action. 1 second. We have this insert, right? So it will go to the insert on these things. Insert, just writing it. If I have to change, I will see there and change it. Form action is to insert. Where is this controller? Okay, insert mouse. Where is that? In the Spring marks control, this views, insert marks and method post and model attribute. Two things we have to use here, right? So this should be in double quotes, otherwise it will not come. Method equals to post, and here one thing I'm adding, just look at it, model attribute, and I'm writing model attribute marks, but everywhere marks you will confuse, so we'll give a new name. Let's take it marks 2, and this marks 2, go to the controller. Here we will pass this one. What is the role of it? It will bind the data, whatever I'm just providing automatically to the path. That path thing will also come, then we'll discuss. Just give me a few minutes. First of all, I've given this marks here. So this is my view page, marks, and this I'm passing here model attribute marks. This model attribute only you will get in the Spring form level. HTML form you won't get that. Okay, so that's why we have used this Spring form. Inside that, we will create the form now. So HTML, how you can create, it's slightly different. So enter not long sign, small enter sign, or simply write the signs marks. Okay, long also you write to identify its better marks. Okay, colon, this is label only. Then in the bracket, observe here SF colon input, and here we will use path, and path equals to this path. What you have taken science, SCI, it is mapping it. Okay, where is that? Insert marks. This is science, then it is over. Now enter. 3 marks I have taken. I got only 3, otherwise to write all of science, English, and math. Okay. It's a ENG. Okay, first do the math. Math. Okay, then ENG. English. Okay, so 3 ENG. 3 English. And we need to submit button for submitting so that it goes to the insert marks. Okay, so we'll create this submit here. Input type, input, right? Input type equals to submit. Input type submit, and close this input type. Spring form is closed, so I think it's enough. It's a simple HTML kind of form. The difference is from the Spring form is this one. We are passing the path this path. For that, I've kept one image also so that you can see and understand this one. Okay. I will check. A typing error will be there. Okay, it will not launch in the first attempt. Don't worry. So here you can see this model attribute. For example, where is the address? Okay, we have a form method post model attribute student name form input type text path name and something else cool form input type checkbox path cool button save button closed form. Now and following controller handler method update student at the rate model attribute which we'll use and then the student. This we are passing here the student this model attribute at the rate model attribute in the method the student and the bean file student bean object will bind automatically if the student class is defined with the following properties. So student class is having a string name and something private boolean cool and the getter setters easy cool. So these methods are there. So the name is same name and cool and here also in path I am taking name and cool. So the model attribute the student when I am passing in the controller it will automatically bind it. So when we write math 100, English 100, science 100, so this will automatically through the bean, it is path, it is mapped actually. Okay, so let's see and again we'll discuss it here. This one is the path and this is mapping with this one. Okay, yes. So now one small error actually, input type, some errors happen, input here the input inside only. Now it's okay. Done. Thank you. So input type submit and also this marks 2 I have taken here. Copy this one to the controller and this model and view when we are going to return in the next page that time we will pass also. So for this this is my normally request controller. So I'm just going to pass here. Already I've done it. No? Marks. Small correction marks 2, not marks. Where is this controller? Okay. So this is my view. This is my model attribute. So whatever the inputs given, it will be called in the insert marks, and the bin object is there. This marks. So 3 things are passed here. Next, after that, I want to display to the next page. So I will take the model attribute. Okay. So this is my page 1. That is insert marks. Now I will make another page for that is 3 another right to display. So just let me think. One more request by required. Public This again same copy paste. Okay, the type model and view return type is given, and this is going to be the pre-insert. Now insert. I think that is better. So insert marks, and here the example which I have shown to you in JPG. That is here I am going to do it. @ model attribute, and in this model attribute we will pass Control S. Model attribute is this one, and in the bracket we have the marks 2, that model attribute, right? And obviously it's not showing blue color, it's having error, this one. So this is my model attribute marks 2. And then the next things we'll do it, marks, okay, and then so okay, return type, return MB. Again I will do this object casting and all, model and view, this one means this creating object here. Insert marks, I will go to the next JSP page, that is result. Okay, name is perfectly given, and this is different, this is different. So let's whatever the marks it will return with this one, I'm passing here. Let's give the name 3. So I'm trying to make those, otherwise I could have given marks everywhere, so you will confuse it. So that's why I have taken slightly different route. This is my which one? Insert marks. First of all, insert marks.jsp, we have this marks 2. So this marks 2 in the controller, I'm binding with this model insert marks. Okay, so it will when the insert is getting called when to the index page, then it will reach to this page. It will return this page which has the form which I am designing this form. It will return me this form. Here you enter this scores which will be taken with the marks 2. Then it will reach to the controller, and this is mapped with the marks, which is the object, bin object. So these things are done. After having done, then the next thing is we have to call the result. Okay, so insert marks method. Okay, small things. @ request mapping, and here we will write insert marks. So it will go to the insert marks. Okay. So when user submit the data, taken that suppose English, math, science, so that data is now added here because it will bind it with this path and all. Then it will take and it will display on the result page. Okay, and result page has this value. What will happen that it goes to the beans here. What is the object in the marks? We have done some logic here that adding these 3 scores. So when they add those 3 scores, it will add into the mark 3. Means I've taken another attribute, and in the marks that will be shown to result page where I will access. Result page is simply encrypted format. So one last page, and this example is going to complete new JSP file. So we need the result file, right? Why we need a result? We have to display the additions of those values. Okay, so those things which we have added, we'll simply go with and showing that it's displaying those results. Okay, so just 1 minute. So I think you understood the flow of it, right? So running is something different because maybe some configurations issues, but result result.jsp. Next, finish it. Here you have to, we are going to use expression language. So for that, obviously, we will JSTL, right? So percentage, percentile at the rate, page, directive, it's having one more attribute. That also I could have written that separately also you can write. Page, EL ignored. Is EL ignored? This is an attribute in JSP. Hope you are aware of it. Is EL expressions language ignored? False. GNORD spelling over. Okay, na? Is EL ignored equals to false. Means EL will accept. So this EL expressions language title this delete this line title result. Okay, and in the body tag we will have the marks, that marks 3. Okay, so just write total marks and EL is this one dollar and in the curly brackets marks 3. So it will not recognize. Okay, what is the problem? Tell me what is the problem? Simple problem, can you identify? Why this is not taking? This total marks. So I try to write this marks because I want to display these things. Okay. So but total marks colon. This is my encrypted format dollar and marks. It's saying that at line column 1 some errors. So let's add the JSTL tag library. So any dependency is not given, the library is not available, it will show error. Okay. This wait, it's coming actually. So just 1 minute. Now it's come. So we will take, let's take JSTL. Let's try to do it. Okay, JSTL. So someone asked now how we know which one is, this is also one of the options. If you see errors not going, actually you have to look for this thing in the repository. Where is the actual so that library is located. So with doing the coding, you will also able to identify easily later on. Okay, so JSTL, take JSTL1, JSTL. because in the pom.xml, let's see, 1.2 is very old, May 2015 it will work. It is not developed after that long time. So till 2015 only. See if it works. Total marks are this one in the pom.xml. So it's downloading actually. It's not still downloaded. It's completing it. 0%, 10%, 100%, 87. So dependencies, why we are adding? If we add the dependencies, then the benefit is that library, if it is not found, it will take it. Otherwise, we will search in some other libraries also. Okay, so that some configuration things has to be taken. That's having no choice here. So is EL ignored when I've written? That's what it's saying problems. Okay. So when you see some errors like that, here is still the code is having some errors. So I will show you the code already there in this system. So that's why, because missing artifact Java X servlet JSTL jar. So I already added the container member dependency, the string, some repository, JSTL jars not accepting. Build path errors are resolved. Okay, we'll see some build path errors here. One of it was in the dispatcher servlet. This some error was showing in the dispatcher servlet. I noticed when I was doing it that context not closed or something. So that time one of the message displaying here in the bar. This one source problems. One minute. This package. Oh, I close it. Slash context. Okay, it's closed only. Actually, it was showing some message like that previously. Okay, no problem. So we have done this one and build path some problems. Configure build path. So you understood the flow of this one. Member dependencies. Update member. Update projects. Course update. First of all, if any dependency is not added, it will see that it gets added. Okay. So this result, we will see this. So the coding is now over. This web.xml, then this mapper file. Here you can see this. We have this views and .jsp extension. Then we are having the bean file. Okay, with these values assigned. Okay, project and missing artifact ID Java X servlet. Form.xml is having the errors. This it is not taking actually. It's recognized and it's well and good. That time it was not taking, right? Okay, anyhow, see this one. So this, you identify this one. This is my form.xml. I've added only one dependency so far, WebMVC, and web.xml dispatcher servlet. This is mapper file for the both component scan and this prefix. Then we go to the bin file. Here we are having this inputs, constructors and getter setters and additional things for adding the values. Then the controller. This controller actually will have two request mapping methods. What are these? This insert will take you to this method, pre-insert, which will return insert marks. So insert marks is this GSP page. Then insert marks, it has the insert mark actions, post, model attribute marks 2. Whatever the name you give it, please remember that this is SF input path. This path is actually the bin which we have taken. It should be the same. Okay, SCI maps in ENG because bin is for what? Storing the values, right? So in the string form, it's excellent arrangements where we can use the path, input path, and it should be exactly same. This is SCI. If I make it SCI 1, it will not work. It should be the same of it. So then it takes, when user gives the input, it will take those inputs and then it will go to the next page. So in the controller is everything is for the display logic purpose. So controller take this insert marks and model attribute marks 2. So this is my model attribute. What is this model attribute? This will has a notation that bind a method parameter or method return a value to named model attribute. Okay, so this is marks 2. So whatever the details has been added, it will come to this with this bin object, and model and view finally will get those additionals a plus b plus c into marks 3 with this marks and return on the result.jsp. Okay, so specifically I have given marks 2, marks 3 like that. Okay, and index.jsp. So what is this role of index.jsp? This is additional page I have created. Okay, so index.jsp will for routing of the entire application. Okay, index.jsp, what is the purpose of it? It has an insert link. Okay, when insert is clicked, then it will go to the insert that we have form actions, insert marks and all. So let's see if it is going or not. Okay, so first we'll click it and some mistake happens, then we will rectify that. Okay, run as server on server. So server is not found and solve problems servers. How it is deleted? I have not added the server yesterday. Maybe I forget to add it. Maybe I have not added yesterday, I think so. The server adding is like Apache. Then go to the 9th version, 9, browse it, and the locations where your server is there. C, for my location it's C, and server Apache Tomcat 9. That's enough. Next. What is the port number? Just we have to check that port number. Okay, so port number may be different also. So let's see what is port number it has. Start. Remind later, no? All the times asking. Now we try to execute this. So if you understood, then after this we'll go with Java annotation and the Spring Boot case study. Okay, so we will go it. We have less times left, 2 hours. So we'll do in that. It's building the project actually. User operation is waiting. So setting server adapter list. Let's restart now. I have not changed the browser also. How it is possible? Copy this one. Since it runs in the internal, I have to change that. We can run on the external browser also. The port number is 2021. So here it is going to insert. You see here in the left corner side, if it is mapped properly, it will go to that insert means it will return me insert which one? Parallelly, I will show you index, insert. So the controller we have insert, so it will take to the insert marks returning. Okay. So we have clicked it. View insert mask is views insert mask CSP not found. Views insert views. Where is that views? Okay. So controller what I have used actually. What is the error here? Insert. Okay, we'll see 1 minute. So this little mapping things just have to check with that. View insert rights. What is saying here? Views. It's a slash is missing. Okay, okay. Servlet dispatcher servlet I have not added. Where you have noticed that thing? Slash Yeah. Okay. And slash in dispatcher servlet.xml. I've added, I think, slash view. It's not correct. Oh, okay. That's something small mistakes. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Manvinder. Thanks. This one, typing these things missing. So I thought why it is not going there. Now again I have to restart everything. So let's run this one. Run as a server. Okay. Finish this one. So it was mixing with the views actually. That's what. Correct. That's why thinking like the views are given, but it's not. Anyhow, it's restarting the server again. So this actually I need this page, which is insertmarks.jsp. Okay, here in this one, it will reflect the insertmarks.jsp page. Initialized model attribute insertmarks.jsp SCI maps in English. It's correct only, no? Form action insert marks. So insert marks form actions correct only because there are some issues which we have to see it. Insert marks means it should go to that insert marks page. Okay, so it's saying unexpected conditions. Okay, insert marks, what can be the errors? Okay. This post model attribute, it's correct only. Just per exception occurred while this one. Spelling check that insert marks.jsp. So an expected insert marks form action. Spelling is okay, na? Insert marks. 1 minute. System is also stuck somewhat. Here, I'm just going with the controller. Let's see. Insert marks. And what is the page name? Insert INACRT. Insert marks. So it should return after clicking this one to this page with the marks 2 and the marks. Syntax wise, debug is also required because you write the code, it will run, it's not necessary. That somewhat smaller binding. Okay. Marks 3, no, okay. Model attribute. So insert marks, 1 minute, we have to see that Catalina com in text, this exception occurred. Insert marks method, model attribute, I have taken marks 2. Okay, so this model attribute, marks 2. Yes, insert mark controller, marks 2 hai. Okay, some space. Oh, yes, this typing is a big headache, maybe. In the controller, you are saying model and view controller. No, this space you are talking about. No, the space you. Oh my God. See, that time I left, na? That thing's space. Are you correctly saying that I'm thinking like, where is the wrong actually gone? Even system you are also striking down. 1 minute. Wait. At least it's nothing here big coding things. It's just going to return the insert marks.jsp page. It will have binding with the marks too. model attribute which is mapped with the bin. So this is the process. Here, okay, just counting, just saving it. First we will save it. Okay, marks 2. It is marks 3. Oh, thank you. Okay, okay. Blank space given, na? Yes. Thank you, Malkarjun. Thanks. It distracts somewhat. Just 1 minute. Because marks, if I write everywhere, it will be confusing. So I have given different marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. But it's not. Now it's okay, no? Marks 3. Okay. Save it. Now it is saved. Clean this one. So clean the stack. Again, let's see if the browser here. Okay, here I'm run as on server. Restart it. Insert marks. Now the JSP page. Yes. Why this is coming in this way? Some formatting. Submit query I've written or submit written? Okay, let's see if it works. 100. Maths, science, 100. English, 90. Now insert, you can see this one. After this, it will add to that and return to the model attribute. That is, if everything works well, then what? Then what will happen when I enter the data? So this marks will have this actually path mapped. So according to that, it will add these things and it will return that things. Calculation 100, 290, and then the controller will display the result page. So what is the display? 1 minute. Marks 3, no? So it's marks 3 on. So controller will add the model attribute marks 2, that this same which we have added after calculations, a plus b plus c, insert marks, and then it will display on the result. Result will have the marks 3, this attribute name, whatever the name you will give, you have to fetch with that name in the JST, and this marks is the object of it. Okay, so this will be passed here, a plus b plus c, in the model and view, and then return the image. So model and view is the only, this class is super class actually. It's a great class where the view can directly be object and view both. It is giving you the advantage. So Spring has given such kind of flexible class. Okay, let it complete. Where is that? Insert marks. When submit, it should go to the result.jsp and it should print. Okay, one more headache. Total marks not calculated. Okay. Total marks. So it's going to the insert marks now. And insert marks will return the result. Correct? So why it is not displaying any error? No error. So this flow is like that only. This one to the controller, insert marks, marks to model attribute. Change this model attribute. Insert marks is correct, this one. Then it should go to the result. Marks 3, it will get the data because it's printing, going to the result.jsp, it's printing this one. But it's not able to display the marks, marks 3. No? So marks 3 is not able to display. Okay, so that model attribute has to change. 1 minute. Because it's passing this one marks to the marks, then the marks with the model attribute. This model attribute will be different than this one. 1 minute, I'm just checking it. Okay, just wait. To associate with this. Okay, just checking once more. Run on server. Finish it. Server is very fast. You can see 0, 0, 100, 100. Maths should be good actually. Then it's all things will be good. Yes, yes. Now it's good. So a little correction. So over here, where is it? Now again, starting points I am showing it. We have this bean file where we are having this marks and constructor and all. So this we are binding with here in the insert marks, the page where we are saying that this is model attribute marks 2. So first time the model attribute, it will carry those details, math, science scores, because it is having path mapped with the marks. Okay, so that JPG image, remember that I have shown to you earlier. Where is that gone? Yes. Here, following controller handler method, the student. So it's passing the same actually. Update at the rate model student will bind automatically with student class is defined with the following property. So I have this same here marks. Okay. In the ENG is Sci and Math, and this here in this we are having the path. If I make it 2, for example, let's see that it is having not Math, so let's change with this. Okay. Now this one was there. No? Right click it, run this one. From server. Finish this one. Restart. Insert mask. See, this header is coming. So it is same required mapping purpose. SCI, so SCI. Right. That's clear. Now here we have this marks.java. This is over. The next thing is controller, which is controlling all the entire logic and process. So we have 2 request mapping. One is for insert, which is actually routing through the index page. It goes to the pre-insert method, which is a request mapping method returning the model and view. Model and view is having the 3 constructors arguments which we are passing. Convenient construct take a single model object, view name of the view to render to be resolved by the dispatcher servlet, model name of the single entry of the model, and the model object of a single model object. So this is the 3 things. So what happened? Here we have insert mark, that is view. This is my model attribute and this is my object. Correct? This is clear. Only thing is happened in this case, this insert marks coming to this one. Okay, because when user clicks on the submit, so it looks for the insert marks, and then insert marks will go to @model attribute. Here, slight variations. These already values are came and added actually. So this is only single entry. So same thing I can't use over here. Now this already came in this marks too. So when it is passed here, then it is added that value, and then I'm accessing some name change. I made it capital Java is case sensitive, so you know that when it is uppercase, lowercase, so it's taking different. Or you can write it marks 4 also. And finally, the model and view. This because it's critically it's saying that it's single entry only. First, it taken the mapping things. Then, what is the role of it? Because the class main class is having two string return type, two string. So it add those values. After adding, we will get those values transferred to the marks here. Because it's a result page for the displaying things we are going here. So this marks 2 going to come with the result page which I am displaying through the marks 3. Okay. See, one single example is taking that much time to do it. Annotations and all pending at 19 also. So is it okay? Some you have identified the process. JSP page and all. So please explore this also. Change the variable name. Try to do it. See all those things. Until unless you do the error things here, you will not understand the JS in Java things. Change any name or anything else and see the impact. I'm saying especially those who are having doubt that how this is connecting, what is this one, why this one. It's just integrations. You see the entire, it's heavily all these things are given like API level. What we are doing is just nothing. Here, these classes are not there. It would have become at least 100 lines of code we have to write for all those things. And they are giving the path mapping with the bean, then through the mean, returning the model attribute. You can see how integrations are done in this way. And this is a professional way of doing the coding with this. Simple one, not complicated one, I must say. But next program, what I will do, I will remove these two files, WebXML and Dispatcher. But I have to add, yes, I will say. But I have to add this one, two more classes, yes. So this example we used to share with Bipro actually students. So they get those understanding because they have Spring MVC actually, and in Cognition focus is more on the boot actually. So we have to balance everywhere this starting things because the approach of every organizations are different. So based on that we have to do. What is the user model attribute? Just remove this one. Nothing written. Then you can understand what is the use of it. You are writing input providing, na? So request mapping, get parameters. We are not how to take this binding things, those values to this view page because you are adding something, right? So the model attribute, if it is not there, let's say for example, I'm running this one, run as on server. Okay, the browser is not calling to go to add it to external browser again. I don't know. Yesterday I've added. It's not saying. So this parameter I kept blank. This is our index page. It will display at any cost. It is having no problem. Now when we click on the insert marks, then it is saying this one. Okay, in the console. Illegal state exception. Neither binding result not plain target object bin name marks 2 available. Got your point? I've given the model name, model attribute, but I have not passed in the model and attribute class. So it is saying binding results not available. Okay. So that is the role here. It's actually what is the things like if you are doing it in previously, sorry, in JSP. So request parameters, you remember, string s1 equals to request parameter, get parameter something you will write into this servlets. Yes, yeah, okay, okay, sorry. Yes, guys, we'll take a break. I'm also exhausted now, so after 20 minutes, around 9:36, 37, 9:40. Okay, we'll join and do two more examples. So one for the annotation and one for the Spring Boot case study. So we'll today complete it at any cost. Okay. So we'll do it after this 9:40. We'll join. Okay. I will also take some break. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I'll resume. Okay, after the break. Okay, so within a few minutes, I have to restart my Eclipse, this STS, it is stuck. So give me 2 minutes. So now the examples through the annotations and the same example we will do with the annotations now using the configurations and enable WebMVC aspects at the rate enable WebMVC and the component scan, all those annotations we will use to get it the same example, just will modify a little bit. Okay, so just 1 minute. So sharing my desktop. Yeah, just wait 1 second. So I've restarted the Spring Tool Suite just now. It was not working, so just reconnecting it. It's taking a long time, so just 1 minute. We'll clean it. It's a huge software, Spring STS, unlike Spring. It's a heavy software, means all library and everything is loaded. So it chances that it requires more memory compared to the Eclipse. But since this is provided by the environment itself, STS, you can try this for some boot level project. You will see it's more easier. Where Eclipse has a lot of issues on that. Okay. So in this example, go to the SRC. I've shared the screen already. Okay. Now main file with INF because this one web.xml. So we have used the dispatcher servlet in the web.xml. Instead of that, we will directly use the annotations, not this one. Okay, it's taking time. So this web.xml, we have used the dispatcher servlet and all. So I will make it like previous things. I am not writing this one. Okay, either you can comment it or just I'm just removing it. Okay, so there is nothing here in the web.xml. So it's like previous state I'm restoring, where it's just web.xml will come when you create a project. Okay. So there is nothing now in this file. Dispatcher servlet, I will make it this one, rename it. So this also will not required anymore. Done. So we'll go to the class Java source folder. Save this one. Web.xml is saved now. Close this one. I will go to the Java. Here we will write the config file. For example, just take one more package that is better. New package and package name same like com dot simply learn dot it's a config, so make the name like config. Okay. So instead of this web.xml, we will create the Java classes now. And new class will create any name you want to give, like my web MVC, okay, config, or any short name also, it's enough. Okay, config file, so it's better that you write in the naming naming convention. And then finish this one. Here we will use certain annotations. So those replacement of XML things at the rate configuration, it will take errors. So we will import that. The string context annotation. Then at the rate enable WebMVC. Enable WebMVC. And last one is component scan as usual. Three annotations. Component scan, we will pass the base path. Com dot simply learn. Okay, that's the base path. And this class, this configuration, we will write the bean method. So at the rate bean, but some method name. Let's give the method name like get view resolver and return type view resolver. View resolver method type of public also I should write, right? Public or this one return type and string web servlet, Spring framework. org Spring Framework dot. There are two actually showing here. Okay, so view resolver is basically part of servlet, and so we'll take this one. Then it's asking add return statement. Okay, so return statement will return the view resolver itself, the object after which we will create it. So those things we have done. Remember that in the through the bean only. So here we will use this annotations at the rate bean. So configurations will take at the rate bean. Okay, this also is to import. Now, what we have used there, internal resource view resolver, right? Equals to new internal resource view resolver. Will use it, and that I will return that. Okay. So internal resource view resolver view resolver, the object equals to new internal source view resolver. Then the object which we have got, view resolver dot set prefix, first prefix, and in the double quotes, same thing last time, slash was missing. So slash div inf slash use slash, and that suffix also. So view resolver dot set suffix. Okay, and what is the suffix here? Dot JSP. Okay, so this one is the alternative of these previous things which we have done in the XML mapper thing we have done here, and return view resolver. That's it. So this one is the simple way of the alternate options for the config. We have simply use these configurations, enable MVC, web MVC, and the component scan. And after that, this view resolver things, because internal resource view resolver, now you can check this class also. Here you can get this idea. This class extends URL based view resolver. Okay. Convenient subclass URL based view that supports servlet and JSP and subclasses such as link. The view class for all views generated by the resolver can be specified. So it extends URI based view resolver. Abstract view resolver implements ordered. So this kind of this API level things are there. So we have this MVC here. Instead of using the previous thing, suffix prefix will sit like that. So no XML is going to be used here. And finally, you need one more Java class to call this class. So dispatcher servlet is still, you can see here on this class. Okay, and I will give some name of this class. For example, this is my web application class, so initializer. So I will write the name like that only, web application dot Java. Okay, or it is initializing the class. So better you name like this one. It's your choice, but it's properly the syntax of the convention, or leave it web application. Okay, my web application. So this class will call inside that. It will extend with dispatcher initializer. Okay, so let's create this one, dispatcher initializer. Trying to So this basically, I'm going to extend this class, going to contain the dispatcher servlet. So still the dispatcher servlet thing you will get it here. After that, in the boot level, there is no mention of dispatcher servlet. Okay. So we need extends. What is the name of that? Dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet abstract. One class is there. Abstract dispatcher servlet. Something. Just we'll see this. Config dispatcher. No, this is config. Yes, dispatcher initializer is there. Such a big name, you can see this one. Okay, my web applications. Add unimplemented methods. Okay, it's a open declaration. First, see what is this one. The abstract class. It has methods, some implemented, some non-implemented methods. Servlet class, config. Okay, so these three things we are using it here. And all are null, but only in one case we have to pass this return. Here servlet mapping is there, so we will do the return, not this null slash that mapping. Okay, so here we have to write that mapping, that slash thing, a string. It's okay. We'll take let's see if it works or not. New string, because I would like to pass that slash option string array, and in this array we will pass on this double quotes on the single list. Okay, so this is for the config slash this is accepted. Yes. So this is my URL pattern, new string array just created with this type string, and the class my web config also need to call in this class with the dispatcher initializer. Still you will get the name of dispatcher servlet. Okay, and here instead of this null, we will make some small changes. Again the new this one. So new object, the new class, new class, and it's going to take this array format, and again equals to, it's actually implementation level. So this bracket we will call this my dev MVC, my dev MVC application, configure application, config. No, this is my application config. Okay, dot class. This not accepting. Oh, sorry, not What is the error here? New class. Okay, class is not keyword. No? Class itself. This ID is making such a very easy to handle. If you know the basic things about you, remember if you something you can try and not coming, then you can think of alternate of it and it works. So this is the alternative of the annotation means the XML. Here we are not using web.xml or mapper file. Directly we created this resolver things here, and then this class we are calling inside this using abstract annotations dispatcher, config dispatcher, servlet initializer. With this overriding things, we have already root config class. No need to change in that, but get servlet config class, we have to get that. Okay, for the dispatcher class. So this one is for dispatcher to get that to read the view resolver things. And then the URL pattern, which we used to mention in the early times. So it is like this, taken into the string. And the examples which we have done in the controller, I have deleted that thing. No? So what was that name? Marks 2. I will try to execute this one. As so, this is small changes you have to do while annotation based Spring MVC. See now, see the problem started. Tomcat crashed. So view and others server. And these configuration things will be very problem creations creating all the times. It's not it's a normal practice if you're using these things which will overcome in the boot actually. Port number 805 required. Actually my server crashed at that time I closed it. One minute. Port number again I will use, it will say it is in use. Now has to do delete all the instances. Okay, 1 minute. Because then it will there are already Tomcat is open somewhere in the system. So I have to kill that process. Okay, you see it's all struck. Because when we open this what is called STS, that time a lot of another instance because I clicked 2-3 times actually those instances are created. Okay, so just closing it. So see all struck. Okay, so first we'll close this one. Where is that? In the folder. It's saying that server is in use. So you have to, if I change the port, again it will say it is in use. Okay. So I have to download this TCP. This TCP, once I do it, then it will work. This also you have to understand this type of debugging process. It's like very frequently you will feel the Tomcat servers which has some problems happen. This time this is not because of the Tomcat. I close this one STS, but Tomcat was not means still was running in the memory. So I not clicked on that stop the server and all. So the instances are remained in the memory. Now whenever I take a new instance creating, it's saying that it is in use. Okay, so that has to delete from the memory now. So you please download the TCP view. Now you can see so many EXEs are working, BEVEX and all, blocking the all the things. But this is what Java EXE. This is already running, so you have to remove this one. Kill process. So these things also is needed actually. You have to know this part also. Okay, so this and why these things are delaying, you can see unnecessarily so many things are already running because other sessions cache memory it is actually taking it. String tools suit it's having 3-4 times. I am also killing it. Kill process. Okay. 69. Now it's gone. So I actually also killed this what is called exe this Tomcat. I think there is no one CC update is so many times it's getting that all are blocking. Okay, now the timing it is done, so it will now start fast and will load it out immediately. And now the Tomcat will run. There will be no problem. So next example we'll do with the Spring Boot and this with so now we will start. start. Started. So these things you also please do it. Download TCP view or Control Alt Delete also will work, but this is Microsoft extra tool which you download. So maybe sometime we just not able to close the instances which is running for Tomcat server, and then next time it will not start until unless we clean from the memory. Okay, so that's what. Now this going to execute now. Run as on server. Next, restart. So here we are using basically the what is called dev.xml. Dispatcher servlet I am calling through this directly. Web browser, insert marks.csv not found. Use dev inf views insert marks.jsp config. So what is the change I have done here? It's nothing here, right? It's config and same thing, na views. Oh, okay. One second. 'Now it's going to call the Chrome browser. As per I just change it now. Now it is running on the Chrome browser. Insert marks. Oh, that's great. This formatting please will do later on. %, and English also this time 100%. Okay. Submit it. Total marks 300. Now the examples which you can see here is just change with this here config and this initializer and calling this class here. I'm mapping this string. That is the easiest way to do it. Okay. So this was the second options Okay, I changed in that same thing now, so I have to share with you also. So we'll share the code, no problem. I have in other locations also this same things in some other place will be there. I will share with that. Okay, switch workspace with other MNCs. So I will select from that and now the next one is Spring Boot. Close all. You stop the server when it is not in use. So for the Spring Boot, the difference and all those things, we don't have to write much boilerplate code and those things. So first I will show you, then we'll come to some concepts also. So file, you have a online options also. Okay, for creating a Spring Boot applications. It is called initializer. Okay, so type initializer, Spring initializer. Initializer Spring. It will take you to the website of the Spring. Start spring.io. This is the website name. Okay, I'm sharing this. So those who are using the Eclipse, they need this one. Okay, this is the chat server. Here you can create one boot project online. This is a Spring initializer com.example already given. You can write com.simplylearn. Com dot. So this group ID given, artifacts ID, the project name. So here we will write the project name. Boot. Boot is a terms. It's not having any dictionary meaning. It's like it's a devised means when the system was inaugurated means long time back. It was not working actually. CPU, so it was booted. Means if you hit something, so it started running. So that term actually coined. So boot. So all the time when it is boot means it's going to start the MVC. So separating the configuration things from the development. So those hassle-free development can be achieved using the boot. It will start because boot will be running on the top of the Spring core, Spring MVC. So Spring MVC will be there only. But now those configurations of Tomcats not required. We have embedded Tomcat service. Okay, so this if you see this one jar or var, you can select Java 18, 17. All these things are there by default. 17 selected, and here you have add dependencies. Okay, so dev tools, for example, add more dependency. We have Lombok, so it's very popular thing nowadays. No getter setter required, no constructor required. Just write the variables, and runtime automatically it will create with the annotations. Lombok library is very famous. Spring Wave, MSC. So let's take this one. Add dependency. So in this case, you don't have to download manually the configuration form.xml. It automatically will download. You have to just select it. For example, if you are selecting anything, searching here, MySQL or Servlet, just search here and you will get that. Okay, so for example, if I am searching for Servlet, system is lagging, otherwise I will write it fast. Eureka discovery client in needed in microservice. Okay, so Servlet is not coming. Okay, add dependencies. All are there, but somehow it's not showing sometimes. So any other H2 database? Yes, in-memory database. Add this one. Just added 3 dependencies and then generate. Click on this generate. It will download it. Boot.zip is downloaded just now. Because you are doing with the Eclipse, you have no choice. You have to go with this way only. If you are doing with STS, it is not required. Then copy this one somewhere in folder, that is better. Copying it, then in the C drive, paste it. Okay, now extract it. So this option is again for the extract here. Those who are doing with Eclipse. So once it is extracted, you can see this entire architecture is showing it with the Spring Boot. And in the Eclipse, not this one. So you have to initializer, means it's an online available tool where you can create a boot application, add the dependencies, and you can download the zip file, and then you unzip this one and go and import this one. Okay. Now we will import it. So Eclipse is just going to start now. So once it is start, we'll discuss. Just give me. So through the this one, I was going to show you. You have to go to that locations and import this one. Right now, you get a template projects for this. Suppose you are having Eclipse, so go to the file import, and in this import, we will select that one. I think Eclipse will not started. Okay, so better I will just stop this one. It is not started. Okay, once it is start, will display. So here, file. Here it's struck down. I need to restart the taking much time for me. Eclipse. So these options I used to tell to the students. The reason is that sometimes it's not downloaded the SDS. So because of some restrictions and all, and sometimes it's not allowed outside anything to download in the system. So you have Eclipse actually provided already. So that is a choice which we get. So that's a easy option. So this also we have to discuss to the students about these things. That in case if you don't have the Spring ID, still you want to uh, see those things and run this boot application, can do with this one. Okay.